Welcome everybody. On this episode of Slasher Sunday, we're going to have a peek at a movie I wish I owned. I'm talking, of course, about Intruder from 1989. Directed by Scott Spiegel, who you might recognize for such classics like From Dusk Till Dawn 2 or Hostel Part 3. I'm sorry, I always dry heave when I lie. I can't help it. No, but seriously, Intruder is amazing. You see that? No dry heaving that time, I'm telling you the truth. I'm totally joking. That one's for free. You're welcome. So if you're a horror fan or just a movie fan in general, the first thing you might realize about Intruder is that it's got a pre-stardom cast with some big names. Sam and his brother Ted Raimi are both in this movie. You know who they are. There's Elizabeth Cox, who's not super famous today, but she was in Night of the Creeps, and that movie deserves recognition, so...
Cindy! Brad's here!
There's also Lawrence Bender, who actually co-wrote this movie. Bruce Campbell has a cameo, a Campbell cameo, if you will. I apologize for that. So anyway, this movie has a bit of a slow start, and by slow start I mean it takes about 10 minutes for the ass to spew the poo, if you get my drift. But the movie actually still tries to build up development for the characters, but like, who gives a shit, you know? We know they're all gonna die. The only important character development is this scene right here that sets up the guy who we know is gonna be the Rambo of the movie, but then he just turns out to be a crazy ex-boyfriend. There's some domestic abuse, and then literally he just goes ham with some extra ham and a side of ham. He just beats the asses off of everyone in the store before running away. Really, I honestly expected a team of 6 people would be able to shut him down faster than the fuckboy who invented the Zune. Anybody remember the Zune? I actually had one. Fucking sucked. So now the movie is in full swing, and it starts cutting back and forth between what the characters are doing by themselves, because apparently, when people start dying and it's discovered, it still seems unnecessary to group up and stay alive that way, because why the hell would anyone want to survive a horror movie? It's also heavily implied that the wife beater in the beginning is the killer. I mean, it makes sense, he's got a motive.
Kill the bitch.
That's right, Simon, and anyone else who gets in the way. But it can't be that simple, can it? I'll tell you who I think the killer is. It's this guy. This psychopath has been listening to the same 10-second loop of music for the whole goddamn movie. Does no one realize that?
Lost your job, Joe!
He's clearly the most insane out of all the characters. Well, that's a shame. At least the fucking music is... Oh, you motherfucker! I apologize if that gets stuck in your head. There's a lot of moments in this movie that are disconnected from the plot because, like I said, the movie chose to break off all the characters on their own adventure. But this shot right here...
Look here, shithead, if you call her one more...
Linda?
What's the point? I mean, it looks cool, but, you know, like, what's the point? So as the movie progresses with riveting scenes of characters doing everyday things like shopping, price tagging, shelf stocking, and eating lunch, we get our first kill. A half hour into a slasher film and the first person is now dead. And we don't even goddamn see it. Nice suggestive transition though. Then this dude stumbles upon the wife beater doing his peepin' Tom routine, again, trying to tell the audience he's the killer. I ain't goddamn buying, so stop selling. Okay, well I'm sure he's not actually dead. And what is with these fucking transitions? There's like actually nothing to talk about in between the kills because it's literally not important to the plot. The plot is the people are in a grocery store and they die. That's it. So this ass blaster wants to take a drink, huh? By the way, nice camera angle again. You know damn well drugs and alcohol are strictly prohibited in horror movies, so he's gonna have to go. Oh look, some more peeping Tom action. Also, who the fuck decides that sex is a good option in middle of food store? I don't, you know, I don't know what the Russian accent was for, but, you know, whatever. So then there's this guy. What's his name? Don't remember. Don't care. Spooky shadow, stab, anime blood spray, cringy dying face, blood splatter, over-exaggerated stab victim feels up the knife, has time to close eyes before dies, move on. Then hey, what a surprise, right? This is actually one of the more horrifying kills in the movie. Actually, it might be the worst. And then, oh no, is it Sam Raimi's time? I've been hooked on his character for the whole movie because he's had the least amount of screen time, so he's automatically the most interesting. Oh, that's ironic. That's good. Alright, here we go. A worthy scene to talk about. This guy goes to the bathroom, sees a pair of feet in the stall standing ridiculously close to each other. I mean, what the hell is this person doing? Trying to keep the turtle head from poking out? No, holy shit, it's a pair of severed feet! And this guy thinks it's a joke. So he goes off and up into the attic where he stumbles upon his boss. Now he's alarmed. The bloody severed feet didn't trigger him, but the eyeless body of his former boss finally does. Then, he sees the wife beater. Well, we know he's not the killer now. I told you, it's too easy. Then we find out the boss isn't dead after having a paper spike jammed into his brain via eyeball, but then he does die. Again. Not quite sure what the point of that part was, because then we're introduced to the killer face to face. Kick his ass, man who obviously deserves the hot blonde instead of the wacky ex-boyfriend who has no purpose in the plot other than to be a decoy for the real killer. Yeah, so I take it back, this guy has the worst death in the movie. Even for me, as much as I've bagged on this movie so far, this is horrifying. This is just downright grotesque. I mean, how the hell did this pass the censors? Alright, now it's time for the final girl chase scene, and look who shows up. Man, they're really trying this angry ex-boyfriend as the killer angle. Get over it, it's too obvious, man. So here we are again, folks. It's time for the spoiler section, so either sit tight or bug out, because the ending of this movie is one for the books. Okay, so let's hope everyone is left who doesn't want to find out why this movie is #1 super mega 10 out of 10. So who's the killer? Well, it's obviously the maintenance guy who was in only 2 scenes, one of which he was presumed dead in. But you might ask yourself, why the hell is this Scooby-Doo-ass villain going around killing everyone?
For the store. Danny was always a big boss. He always called the shots on every business deal till now. I couldn't let that son of a bitch take the store away from me. The store's my whole life. I had to kill him.
Right, so best option is to murder a bunch of people, which will then in turn showcase how safe and fun of an environment this grocery store actually is. Yeah, that ought to do it. Anyway, so the girl runs off and what in the... Okay, so instead of a continuous tracking shot past all the aisles, the filmmakers thought it best to cut the camera and then start it up every aisle that she passes. And what the Jesus Christ is that running? What is she doing? Pardon me, but my offensive bone is sticking out. Is she fucking autistic? What is going on? Who fucking actively runs away like that from a serial killer? Then, oh look, it's the crazy-ass boyfriend again. I'm pretty sure he's beating him with a severed head. Anyway, long story short, she stabs him with a big butcher knife that would give even Michael Myers a hard-on, and then he falls, the knife pops out, flies up, drops down next to him, and wiggles. Very cartoony end to what I would wager is a semi-serious plot point, but you know, whatever. So then she just leaves to go make a phone call. This is it. This is the moment that Jamie Kennedy taught us about.
Careful. This is the moment when the supposedly dead killer comes back to life for one last scare.
Yeah, wow. Oh my god, the wife beater is back again. This guy really was the Rambo of the movie. He's just sitting there hacking this guy to pieces. Wait. I'm sorry. He's just sitting there smacking this guy's shoulder with a dull cleaver. Here come the police.
They did it. They killed everybody.
Okay, now this is actually pretty clever. Arrest the survivors because the guy over there who's in a bloody heap said that they killed everyone. Just take his word over anybody else's because he's bloody? Sure. Good idea. That's good. Genius. Okay, everyone, well, that was Intruder, and as much as it seemed like I hated this movie, I really do think it's worth a look. It's a solid bloodbath with some horrifying kills and a pretty badass twist ending. I give it a 7 out of 10. Thanks for watching. If you have any suggestions for the next movie I should recommend, let me know in the comments. But until next time...